Okay, we are now streaming live on Facebook. So I'm going to just double check on my phone that we are live and share it to a few places. So just bear with me 1 second or two. There we go. So I'm going to share it to...
Just sharing it on mine as well.
Oh, brilliant. You found it. Excellent. Thank you. Tum-ti-tum. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so welcome, Mangala.
Thank you.
And welcome everybody to Love Speaks Love. I am your host, Denise, and my lovely guest today is Mangala Holland, who I've actually known for a fair few years, maybe 6 years.
It would be about that, yeah.
Yeah, we were in a women's empowerment, an online group that met every week and kind of did a lot of work together. And when you came to Byron Bay, we met up. So I'd actually met you in the flesh, in person. And then on my recent visit to Glastonbury, we had arranged to meet, but I just thought it was really interesting that I bumped into one other person once, and I know a fair few people in Glastonbury, but I bumped into you twice. So I took that as a nudge to get you on the show. So welcome.
Thank you, Denise. I'm delighted to be here today. Yeah.
And for those that don't know, Mangala is a women's empowerment coach and a women's empowerment and sexuality coach. And I'll let you expand on that shortly when we've gathered some people. And what I like to do at the beginning as well is just do a little heart-to-heart connect, because Love Speaks Love, one of my intentions of doing this, apart from gathering people in to share wisdom, share knowledge, and expand consciousness, is also to get people to be aware of their heart space. And what I would love, my dream, is that people are kind of living their lives from their heart space. So the more that we practice being in there, the easier it is to actually be in our heart space. So I will start us off now by doing just that. So I invite us all to close our eyes if you're in a position to do so. But even if you're not, even if your eyes are open, just to bring your awareness to your heart space in the center of your chest. And I invite you to breathe in love. Breathe love into your beautiful, beautiful hearts. And you may wish to place one or both hands on your heart space as you do this. And you can on your out breath, breathe out love or breathe out anything of the day so far. Anything that may be preventing you from being in this now moment. And as you breathe love into your beautiful hearts, your hearts expand. And the love spreads to every cell of your body. And extending that heart awareness out now to the heart of Gaia. And for me, Gaia's heart is right in the core of Gaia. It's right in the center. And I perceive this as a diamond crystalline heart. And feeling Gaia's love for all of us, her recognition of who we are, and her gratitude for all that we are and all that we do. And feeling Gaia's love moving into your heart, into every cell of your body. And extending that heart awareness out now to the heart of the sun. feeling that beautiful solar energy entering our bodies. This might be through your solar plexus, through your solar battery, charging you up. And those solar frequencies are moving into every cell of your body. And extending that heart awareness out now to Source Creator. Breathing the love from Source, from Creator, into your hearts, into every cell of your body. And Mangala, I'll just hand over to you at this point and just ask if there's anything you would like to add.
That feels complete. Thank you.
Thank you, lovely. And I'm just aware of all of our hearts connecting as well. Everybody who's watching this with us live and everybody on the replay or on YouTube. Because wherever you are, whether it's in future now, it's all this one now moment in our one unified field of love. So, Mangala, it's also of interest to me that it felt like we were always destined to meet, because when I was a nurse in Manchester, one of your good friends was actually a staff nurse on the ward that I was a sister of, and I actually employed her. Yeah. I actually employed her, so you knew all the staff. I didn't really go out much on nights out, but I know that you went out with them on nights out, so I just thought that was really, really crazy. So how, because at that time you were a bit of a party girl, how was that journey for you? Like how was that transition to where you are now, the Juice Queen? How was that transition from DJing in Manchester and being pretty footloose and fancy free, and how did you get from there to being where you are now? Like, share anything of that journey. I'd love to hear.
Yeah. Oh God, what a journey. I mean, when I look back in those days, I was not just DJing, I was also working in corporate during the week. I was working in stockbrokers and before that legal firms. And I never felt like I fitted in that world. I would be in these board just like training all these like board members and stuff on IT software, and I'd be wearing like stiff suit, and I just felt so out of place. I was leading a real double life and partying really, really hard. I mean, like ridiculously hard. And it got to a point where just everything, just the brakes just went on, and it was just like, there was one night in particular where I thought I was dying, and I wasn't. It was a panic attack. I thought I was having a heart attack, and that was it. In that moment, this voice popped into my head and said, "You've got to stop this nonsense and take up yoga." And it was like that. It was a switch went on. So that was it. Like, I think 3 or 4 days later, I went to my very first yoga class, and this would have been, I'm guessing this is probably about 14, 15 years ago at this point. And that was it. Stopped the booze. I carried on DJing for a couple of years, but I would just drink water or tea behind the decks. As I started doing more yoga and meditation, I started to realize this wasn't just a physical thing to feel good, that there was a deep spiritual undercurrent and just, a whole system of knowledge underneath this. And I was really curious. I was like, what's this about? And I think I'd always been a space cadet. I'd just been going about it a different way, shall we say. And so that led to me taking what I thought was going to be a year off from my corporate world. I thought I was going to take a year off and go travel. And the first place I wanted to go to was India, and to go deeper into yoga. Well, that was 11 years ago, and I ended up being overseas for 11 years. I didn't come back. And I ended up going deeper into yoga, and along that journey, I discovered classical tantra, and I discovered neo tantra, which is the more sexual side of things. And as I went on that journey, I realized that really at the core of all of my healing was that I just did not love myself, and I had such a deep sense of self-loathing. And so I did a lot of work to purify that, and I realized at the core of that was sexuality, that I'd been so disconnected from my body, so disconnected from my pleasure, and I just felt so inauthentic, and I was so full of shame. And so going on this journey just gave me the tools and the wisdom to pull it all apart and to learn new skills and to heal, really deep systemic healing from the inside out. And as I remember just like colors started to look brighter, and I suddenly felt, as I walking around thinking, something's different, what is it? And I'm like, oh, I'm happy. I've never felt this before. And then I discovered the world of cervical orgasms. It just kind of blew my mind when my body kind of awakened as well as everything else. And I just wanted to shout it from the rooftops. And so that led to me just going deeper on my path and learning, trained in different modalities, and spent a long time in a very dodgy environment in Thailand, which I thought was a yoga and tantra school, but it turned out to be a cult, and took me a while to extricate myself from that. And then I moved to Australia and just went full power in my own business, and things have really flourished since then. I've trained, I mean, I've worked it, I've run retreats and workshops internationally for many years. I've got a very flourishing online business with clients all over the world. I'm training the next generation of embodied female pleasure facilitators, and I really believe this is what the world needs right now. It needs all of us in alignment and integrity with every part of ourselves, and sexuality is key to that. I really believe that. So yeah, that's the short answer anyway.
Okay. Okay, where to expand on in that? So you also learnt Yoni massage as well. Was that while you were in India, or was that something that you learned afterwards?
That was in Thailand through receiving from different practitioners. Well, I mean, we're both English people, right? And so I remember being in this, as I said, it turned out to be a culty environment, but some of the techniques that I learned through some of the students there were beneficial, and Yoni massage was one of them. And when I first heard about this, I was like, what, you pay someone to do what? Imagine my mates down the pub, what if I told them about this? And but the longer I was in that environment, the more it became normal, and it was kind of the thing you did in Thailand. You went to yoga in the morning, you went to beach in the afternoon, and then you go get a yoni massage, and then you get a coconut, and it's just kind of what you did. And so I plucked up the courage, and I received a session from a woman, and the first session, and it was groundbreaking how it connected me in with so many disconnected parts of myself. And so I then worked with lots of different practitioners over the years for my own healing journey, and it just got to the point where it's like, I need to learn how to do this. And that became my staple bread and butter for quite a long time. And I've worked inside more vaginas than most people have had hot dinners, and I learned so much about female pleasure and orgasm and the body and trauma and safety and so many different things through that. And so the sessions were incredible. I've worked with everyone from the age of 18 up till I think 68 was the oldest person I've worked with. I've worked with people who identify as non-binary. I've worked with just everybody, like just complete range. And in Thailand, when I was working on people, they were mostly from that same community, and very much into working on their own sexuality and quite thinking they were quite free and open and all the rest of it. When I moved to Australia, it was a very, very different story. And it's like, whoa, these are normal people in the normal, you know, the 9-to-5 world and the corporate world and company directors. And these people have got heavy shit that they're carrying, you know, and some of the sessions felt more like exorcisms, as the only way I can describe it. Not just, you know, a handful of them, but it was so powerful. And I trained a bunch of practitioners in Australia over the years. Yeah, it's very, very powerful modality. Yeah.
And you were in the Daily Mail, as I recall.
Yes.
This is while you were still living in Australia.
Yeah, without my consent, they quoted me. They ran an article about Yoni Massage. This is, I don't know what year that was, 2000, must have been 2015, and ran this big article, quoted me in it, and it was like, this is the rage, everybody's doing it, people pay however much for a session. You know, I think this is just before Goop and Gwyneth Paltrow became like big, you know, big media things. And yeah, my mum read it and she didn't tell me for a year. She sat on it.
Wow.
And didn't tell me for a year.
So she didn't know what you were doing.
They thought I was teaching yoga. I mean, they knew I was doing something to do with Tantra, but they never asked what that actually meant. And being a reserved English family, there's certain things, but there's a lot of things that we don't talk about in our families. So yeah. And I understand it from their point of view, because they're in their mid-70s, my parents, it's a different generation. That must have just sounded so confronting and out there and beyond. So I totally get it. And there's the whole, what will people think? You know, it's just so far left field. So yeah.
So for those who've never experienced it, why do women need, or not need, but why has it been of benefit for the people that have seen you to receive a yoni massage?
I would expand that question, actually, and I would look at this in a broader context of why do we need to, why should we work on our sexuality? Why don't we just do what we've always done and put up with what we've always put up with? Why don't we lie back and think of England? Because so many people are just deeply unhappy with their current situation. So many people that I work with feel disconnected from their body, disconnected from their pleasure. They might have never experienced orgasm, or if they have, they've only experienced superficial orgasm, or they've only experienced orgasm on their own and not with a partner. That's incredibly common. Or they're just feeling dissatisfied and disconnected, or they just want to know what their body's capable of. And it's like, wow, I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know this was possible. And so I think it's really powerful to do that. And that can be done in many ways. I don't do yoni massage myself these days, and I haven't done for a long time. My work is now more in one-to-one coaching online and in group formats, because I realize that, you know, some people are ready for internal work, and for other people, it's more empowering to be supported to go off and do your own exploration, go at your own pace, and be able to self-regulate. And it's different for everybody. But I think there is a lot of power in learning to love ourselves fully and to reclaim all these lost parts of ourselves, and also to strip away what is not ours, like the conditioning. So much of my work that I'm doing with clients is about stripping away these systems of oppression and the conditioning that isn't ours, that's been loaded on us. And I'll give you an example of this. A theme this week for me with my clients, almost everybody I've worked with has turned around and said, well, you know, should I be having sex with my partner to keep him happy? And it's like, we've got a problem right there. If you are feeling like you need to put out for your partner so that they don't go off elsewhere, or you're overriding your own desires to put their pleasure first, we've got a problem. We've got a problem with society. You have a right to take all the time you need to take to get aroused. You've got a right to have equal pleasure to your partner and to feel equally satisfied. And so that's a lot of the work I'm doing. And it, tied up with that, when we start to unpack and unravel what's in the way of pleasure, we start to look at what's blocking your confidence, and that is in every area of life. So it's pretty huge. Yeah.
And I guess on a different level as well, you know, we have a massage, we know we hold tension in our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many muscles in the area of the yoni, so many muscles meet at that point.
Yeah.
And we hold a lot of tension. And I guess from our sexual experiences as well, the memories of all of that, everything is contained in the muscles there.
Totally. If you think about the inside of the female anatomy, this is our most receptive part of our whole being. And if you've got a cervix, this is you know, this is the neck of the womb. This is the gateway to creation, if we think about it in the metaphysical context. And this is the most, you can look at it as, you know, this is the most yin part of our whole being. And that's, everything gets stored there. Like, you know, like, and I really encourage everybody to regularly make contact with all of these parts of you inside to clear the stuff that's built up there. Because when I've worked with people and we've cleared what's there inside, there's so much can show up, and it can be stuff from past relationships, it can be childhood memories, it could be suddenly the grandmother pops through, it can be, I've had clients who channeled Archangel Michael in a session. I've had one woman who then went on to train with me as a practitioner. She's very, very psychic, and she started giving me a psychic reading while my hand was still inside her. I mean, I've seen it all, you know, but and sometimes it's just very profound and beautiful. Some people have full visionary experiences, some have profound orgasms, some just have an emotional release, and for some it's very calm and meditative. It's the range is vast, and every single time is different. But I really believe if you want to work through going from feeling numb inside or not feeling pleasure, then doing some work internally yourself can be a very beautiful way to release whatever's there, whether it's emotional, physical tension. And just as we go and get regular massages to release tension from the body, I mean, this is a beautiful way to to move through things.
And even memories, you know, having smears, those kinds of medical procedures as well that are very clinical, very awkward, and you know, laser treatment and all that kind of stuff as well, and childbirth. You know, there's so much that can be held there.
Especially I mean, I've worked with a lot of people who had some pretty intense medical trauma, and medical gaslighting as well, not being taken seriously, whether that's in the birthing sphere, or I remember I shared this with one of my groups that I'm running at the moment. I had a colposcopy when I was in my 20s, where they take a biopsy. And I was, you know, I didn't know any better at that age. And they said, do you mind if this team of doctors from Africa come and watch while we do this? And I didn't feel that I had a right to say no. And so I, you know, and it's like these days, I go for a pap smear, I'm like, can I insert this myself? Can I have a mirror? Can I look at my cervix, please? You know? And the nurse, last time I did that, the nurse was like, yeah, cool, right, this is awesome. And so things are changing, but it takes us being more empowered to be able to do that. And so working through things like this is a really powerful way of smoothing out that trauma, providing it's done very professionally and sensitively, and if you're working with somebody in a session like this, that you work with a practitioner who is trauma informed, who's well trained, who's female bodied. I'm going to put that out there straight away. I feel very strongly about that, and who really knows their shit. That's so important. Yeah.
So you're not doing the Yoni massages anymore, and a lot of your work is online. So what is involved in a one-on-one session? What could people expect from that?
So when I work with clients, we normally work for 6 months, because this way we get to create lasting change, and I get to hold their hand every step of the way, because there's a real roadmap to the process that I work with. I call it the orgasmic confidence method. And so we take people from wherever you are, everybody's different, but we start by creating safety and regulation in the body, and getting that in place first, so that you can then really start to trust what you can feel in your body, and working with just simple movement practices, doing them regularly, so that you get to, that you're not up in your head, and that you can feel what's happening in your body. And once that's in place, then we start to work with creating new pleasure pathways in the body, the full body, because pleasure isn't just genital, it's a full system thing. And once that's in place, then we work on very specific techniques that are tailored to the individual, to work on awakening orgasms internally, and exploring all the different areas inside, and G-spot orgasms, cervical orgasms, working on other pleasure points to clear what's there, and to awaken pleasure and orgasms, and also to be able to communicate their needs to others, and to create healthy boundaries, and to be able to ask for what they need, and to get this confidence happening. So that's how I work these days. And it's lovely, because my work is gentle and slow and steady, because I believe that's how you create lasting change, not going and doing a weekend workshop and diving in, and then like spending a few weeks going, what the hell was that? And then not integrating. It's like, particularly with sexuality work, the integration piece is so important. Yeah.
My feeling is that a long time ago, the women taught women about orgasms.
Yes.
And we've kind of lost that.
You can feel it, can't you? When you feel into that essence, you feel into priestesses of all different traditions. This is the wisdom that was shared. And somewhere along the line, once patriarchy kicked in, this got squashed down, because female pleasure is considered dangerous. It's hidden. You can't see what's going on inside. It's considered threatening, and so that's been squashed down. But if you look at it, there's always undercurrents. There's always been girl talk, even if it's after a bottle of wine, or over drinks in the bar, or hen nights, or whatever it is. This stuff still does get talked about. It's just not the same depth of transmission, I think, is what's been lost. Yeah.
And in a way, the way that it's talked about, it's people together not knowing that much, talking about it. It's not necessarily people that are more experts in it, that have kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I feel, in terms of sacred sexuality as well, that we're only just at the very tip of what is possible in terms of sexuality.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily with a partner.
Yeah.
This is about our inner masculine and feminine merging. And my feeling is that longevity, rejuvenation codes, all of this is linked to sexuality, it's linked to the womb, and it's linked to the orgasm as well.
Yeah, I really believe that this, or the deep, powerful orgasms are a spiritual experience, and it's life force. It's this current of energy. This is what they call Shakti in the Indian traditions. This is this energy, I believe, is the birthright of everybody. This is liberation. We're connected to source, particularly when we're experiencing cervical orgasms, because your body can create its own DMT. So you can have very psychedelic, spiritual experiences of oneness that, you know, I've had clients say they've done spiritual practice and meditation retreats for years and years and years and had a more immediate glimpse of oneness in orgasm than through anything else. So yeah.
I'm getting a nudge to show you that I've got a bowl full of rose petals here.
Oh.
So my first roses that I grew in the garden, that's the second one.
Wow.
Such a powerful, and I think what got me there, suddenly Mary Magdalene popped into my head, and you know, the sacred sexuality codes that clearly, as the priestess that she was, she would have had. And so Sisterhood of the Rose, which is way deeper. Like, you know, there's so little that I really know about that, but there's something so powerful about the rose.
Yeah.
I mirrored some, I don't know if I'm going to put them on Facebook. I might put some of them on, but I'll send you one of the, because I took a photograph of a rose and mirrored it, and it was really interesting how it looks. Okay, so your group work that you do, so you're teaching people how to do what you do, basically.
Yeah.
In those. Tell me more about those.
Yeah, I have two different groups. One is finishing tomorrow. That's my 3-month group program called Orgasmic Confidence. And that's really for anybody who has a vulva and wants to learn more about how to awaken their own orgasms and their own pleasure and confidence and healthy boundaries. So I normally run that once a year. And we've had a really powerful group. They're just an amazing crew. I'm just in that bittersweet. It was like, oh my God, it's our last call tomorrow. And so none of us wanted to end. I'm very much in that energy today. And I also have Embodied Female Pleasure, which is my facilitator training program, which is also online. At the moment, this year, it's a 9-month program. And when I run that again in January, it's going to be 10 months. I feel there's more I want to share in there, but this has been really, really powerful. And we spend the first section of the journey just really going in on their own pleasure journey and their own embodiment journey, and really feeling this for themselves, because you know you can't teach this stuff in the world if you don't have an embodied experience, a felt sense of what it's like to move through your own stuff, and to find new ways of doing things, and to rewire your own arousal patterns and everything else that we get to do. So it's super fun. It's really deep work. And so that's ongoing at the moment. And I bring in guest experts. So I've got experts teaching about trauma-informed facilitation. I've got a guest expert teaching about holding space for women of color, which is really exciting, and making sure that people feel safe in the spaces, and also bringing in someone to make sure that we can hold safer spaces for gender non-conforming clients, so people who identify as trans or non-binary, so that we can be, you know, as inclusive and as safe as possible. And yeah, I've got people from all over the world on this group, and they're amazing. They're absolute rock stars, and it's just a real honor to be holding this. And in some ways I was nervous to put this out, which is my own little insecure little girl inside needed a few years to really get my shit out of the way. And once we started, it's like I feel like I've been doing this for lifetimes, you know. It's like, of course this is what's meant to happen. And I'm really on a mission to get this work out wider into the world, because the ripple effects are enormous. So many of my clients tell me about the shift in their family dynamics. Even someone this week said their daughters are behaving differently at school. You know, there's all these ripple effects from people being more sexually liberated, and that's what it's all about. So.
And I saw one of your posts that was from the partner as well. It was what she said about how her partner felt about it too.
Yeah, that was awesome. And yeah, so this client, she started working with me. She was completely numb inside. She'd had a really horrendous medical trauma, and she really thought she was broken. She's worked with some very big names in the industry and left those experiences feeling more broken than when she went in. And this was kind of like, I was kind of like last resort. And I'm so glad she trusted herself to invest, because yeah, she sent me a voicemail the other day just saying, my cervix is performing magic tricks, which is awesome in itself, that she's experiencing all these new orgasmic states, but that her partner said that that was the most blissful, connected experience he'd ever had. And this guy is just, he's not in this world. He's a normal dude, you know, he's not in this sphere at all. And for him to feel that was just like, wow, just shows you what's possible. Yeah.
And is there sometimes like, is there this feeling, you know, women in relationship coming to your course, do they keep it secret from their partners? I mean, I'm sure it's a mix, but
it is a mix, yeah. And that's lovely. So it's like people get to share what they feel comfortable with. But what's lovely is when I always, if a client wants to try a new way of communicating, or you know, if what they've been doing is not really satisfying them, then they need to have vulnerable conversations and learn how to practice learning to do that, and start to pull things apart to do it differently. And to be able to blame me and say, I'm working with this crazy woman and she suggested we try this, is an easier inroad than saying, I'm not happy, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do about it. You know, it's like, we've got a roadmap here and this woman's suggesting we try this, let's give it a go. And that way then they can work as a team. Other clients prefer to keep a bit of mystery. And the partners are like, well, I don't know what you're doing, but it's working, keep doing it, you know. So it does vary.
Is there quite a wide age range as well in people that do your courses?
Yeah. In orgasmic confidence at the moment, we've got people from, I would say, late 20s up to one who's in the late 60s or early 70s. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And in one of my group courses in Melbourne, the last in-person group I ran, I had an 18-year-old and her mum on the same course.
Wow.
And that was phenomenal. And the 18-year-old was the wisest one out of all of us. It was amazing to see how aware she was and the communication they had between them.
That's incredible, because that mother-daughter relationship, especially in relation to sexuality, it's like not really spoken of.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much around that.
Yeah.
And the idea for most people of going to a course like that with their mum,
it's so confronting. You just yeah. So that was super special.
Yeah, that's amazing. You must be very missed in Melbourne. So if we were to do a process, is there anything that you would want to, I mean, is there anything that you want to share about, anything that I've not asked about, you know, that you'd like to talk about, first of all?
Yeah, what I would say, I think the real key point is, if you want to feel more pleasure and you'd love to experience more confidence and more satisfying orgasms, it really starts with the body. It starts with building a new connection with your body, and that means really understanding your own boundaries, understanding your yes and your no, and not overriding that, so that you're not, you know, you're not saying yes to please a partner, but you're really honoring those boundaries. And also with yourself as well, that you're not just going and doing internal work because you feel you should, or because it's homework. that you're actually getting a yes from your body before you go inside. And that's really important. And one of the biggest shifts for me in my journey was through doing daily movement practices that were non-sexual in nature, literally just closing my eyes and moving my body for 1 or 2 songs every day. And what that did is it trained me to be in my body and to feel what's there and to be able to track sensations, which opened up a whole new range of subtleties and really turned up the volume on the pleasure that is available. And that's how I work with my clients. Like, they might spend the first few sessions wondering why they're moving around on their hands and knees with their eyes closed and thinking, how is this linked to orgasms? But then this is part of the roadmap. And I could share the most specific tools on how to wake up your G-spot, but if you're not in your body, it's not going to land and it's not going to stick. And so that's really what I believe. And the other thing I want to say on that is that I really believe that everything about our physical body is sacred and is worthy of worship, and that is an expression of divinity, no matter what your belief system. And that's a really powerful lens to look at if you want to start shifting shame and releasing some of the baggage that you've been carrying that you're ready to let go of. Yeah.
And the self-love as well. I'm just reminded of you speaking of that right at the beginning, and I wanted to go back to that. What kind of how do you encourage people to love themselves more?
Yeah. You can't just tell people just love yourself more, because that's just going to make somebody feel worse if they're not feeling that. And this is where having an embodied exploration, moving through the body and starting to tune in. I took some people through a process today called inner devotion, which is really just placing your hands on your body and moving, tracking what you can feel, bringing soothing, loving touch, the kind of touch you would give a pet or your child. So often we give out to others, and we're not replenishing, we're not filling our own tanks. And I really believe that this is a starting point to focus on what feels good from the inside out, rather than how we think our body looks. How we think we look in the mirror, which is often a distortion anyway. It's the more we can do this from the inside out and through the body and through giving ourselves the kind of touch that we want to receive, this goes a much longer way. Yes.
Nice. Okay, a process. Would you like to do that?
Sure. Put me on the spot. You want me to lead something, or have you got something in mind? Okay.
Yeah, I'll hand it over to you, because I'm not really, I think you know best whether
Sure.
It's something to, like, I don't know, what do you think, like something to kind of get people in touch with their bodies, like?
Yeah, I'll happily take you through a brief inner devotion process then, so that we can really feel this.
I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, okay. So for those of you watching, I'm just going to invite you, wherever you are right now, whether you're sat on a chair, whether you're sat on the couch or lying in your bed, wherever you are, if you're able to close your eyes, so hopefully you're not driving, and using this time, if it feels safe and comfortable, to close your eyes and taking a moment to feel the support of where your body is supported. So whether that's the bed or the chair or the floor. And as you feel that support, see if you can invite in a little bit more softening, a little bit more relaxation. Just allow your body to feel supported right now. And then bringing awareness into your breath. And without changing your breath, just observing as you breathe in and breathe out. using this time to come home to yourself. And then if it feels comfortable to you, start to give yourself some nurturing, soothing touch, however feels right to you in this moment. And that touch can be, it could be soft, it could be firm, it could be slow, it could be stronger, it doesn't matter. But just touching your body in a way and in a place that feels good and accessible to you right now. And feeling into what is your access point to goodness or pleasure or ease or relaxation. And you might stay on one point of your body, or you might spread your hands around your body, just spreading this sense of soothing and softening. See if you can invite in more relaxation, more ease, possibly pleasure. And it might just be noticing areas where there is less tension, and that's also okay. Just notice what you can feel. And as you continue with this touch, I'm also going to invite you to bring a smile to your face. So the corners of your mouth turn up, maybe the corners of your eyes turn up, and your whole face is lit up with a beautiful smile. Notice how that feels. And see if you can send that smile through your body, so down into your different organs, into your physical heart, into your lungs, into your liver, kidneys, smiling into your digestive system, smiling into your pelvic bowl. And all the time, see if you, with the smile, maybe with your breath, and maybe with touch, just spreading, widening, softening and relaxing more. Touching yourself with this sense of devotion. And if something feels good, say yes to it. Allow it to amplify. And then bringing this touch, this movement to stillness, but still keeping your eyes closed for a moment. Noticing what you can feel. And with this sense of maybe more ease, maybe more relaxation, or just whatever has arisen, asking yourself and inquiring if you were fully devoted to yourself and your pleasure and your body, what would your life look like? And we'll conclude this practice by just giving yourself some kind of acknowledgement, some kind of gesture to seal the practice. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was really beautiful and really powerful. If anyone wishes to share their experiences in the comments, feel free to do so.
Please do. Yeah.
And I have to say, it felt really safe. I was very, I mean, although I know you, it was beyond that. Like I could just feel your holding in there. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And oh, there was something I was going to say and it's gone in and out of my brain. Maybe it will come back. But yeah, that's it. That's what I was going to say. So the beauty is in the simplicity. Things don't need to be overcomplicated and all bells and whistles. Like sometimes the more simpler it is and the more we can slow things down, that's where the magic is.
And I love that, bringing the smile. I'm like, I might borrow that one. I like that one. Yeah, that's really beautiful. So you have a website. And I think I should have, that should be in the intro to this video, but we'll put it in the comments as well, just to be sure. And first of all, how can people get hold of you? But you were mentioning that you've got some videos as well that people can access, you know, to kind of feel into your work, and you know, just to see if it feels right to work with you. So yeah, tell us all about that, please.
Yeah, so of course, friend me on Facebook. That's the easiest way to stay in touch, because I'm way more active on Facebook than any other platform, and that's where things are up to date and flowing. But yeah, I have a free 3-part video series called From Shutdown to Sensual Satisfaction. So it's a free series, and every day you'll get a video in your inbox with a very simple movement practice of the day to help you, tune into your pleasure more, feel more in your body, and to awaken more confidence. So it's suitable for anybody who is female-bodied, that you are most welcome to sign up. And I'll put a link to that in the comments as well. Yeah.
And the courses that you run, what kind of, because I presume you're trying to get people in from all over the place, what kind of time do you run those?
I vary it. So there is also actually a digital self-paced program on my website called the Awaken Sensuality Experience, which is a low-cost program where you get regular emails with practices that you can just do in your own time, because so many people are so busy that, you know, they don't have time to devote to doing a course. And what I do, because I've got such an international community, is in my group programs. It's different for the facilitator training program, but for orgasmic confidence, we stagger the course. So it will be a morning and then an evening UK time, because I've got a lot of people in Australia. I've also got people in the States. In this current round, we've got people from Mexico and Finland, and they're all over the place. So having the staggered calls works really well. And obviously I record everything, and so that everyone gets to watch the replays anyway. But that's a lovely way to make sure that everybody stays connected. Yeah.
And the one-on-ones, you said that tends to be over 6 months. Yeah, absolutely. And if that's something that you feel you've got a burning desire to know more about, then reach out and we can schedule a call and talk more about what that would look like. Yeah. Brilliant. I'm just looking at the there's some really nice comments.
Oh,
so
lovely.
And we have one gentleman asking, are these sessions available for men?
Not from myself, but I can recommend somebody amazing if there's a male-bodied individual who I used to work with men, and over the years I moved back to just working with female-bodied individuals, but I do know some amazing practitioners that work with men that are super heart-centered, super in integrity. So reach out if you would like that support.
Yeah, beautiful. Is there anything you would like to add, my dear?
I'm feeling complete. I just want to express my gratitude to be here. I love talking about this stuff, as you can probably tell. This is my sweet spot, my happy spot, and it's lovely to be able to talk about this stuff with a different audience, and to reach other people. So yeah, just thank you for having me. It's a delight.
My absolute pleasure. And it's it's a different kind of chat from often the ones that I have as well, so it feels really good. And I really just wanted to thank you for the work that you're doing, because it's so important. And it feels like it just feels so key, and it feels like this is the tip of the iceberg of where this is all going as well. So
yeah,
and it kind of has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I will just say that from my own experience of Mangala, that it isn't in relation to her work, but just who she is, I would really trust you in this as well. I know that you're a person of integrity. So yeah, that really shines through. So thank you for everything that you're doing for everyone. I mean, I know this is in a way for women, but in a way, like you were talking about the ripples, it's not. It's for everyone. So
yeah, well, this is for this is for the planet. This is for humanity. We all, our gifts all come through in different ways for all of us, and we've all got a part to play in this. And I believe that if we could treat the environment and treat our bodies in a loving, devotional way, we wouldn't be in the mess we're in right now. And I believe this is why I'm so passionate about sharing this work. Yeah.
And it's the place to start. It's that be the change you want to see, and that's on all levels. And you're right, unless we start really loving ourselves, that's the place to start. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome.
And I'm back in Glastonbury at the end of July, by the way.
Oh, awesome. Great.
So yeah, I'll be hitting you up for a cup of tea.
Amazing.
And thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who's been watching us live and on the replay as well, and also on YouTube. And I will just mention that my next guest is David Maria, who's been on Love Speaks Love before, and he is next Monday, the 28th. Can't remember the time. Nope, can't remember the time, but it's next Monday, so I'll be putting that out. And thank you so much. And if there's ever anything that you want to come on and share about again, then you know where I am.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. And actually, let's just feel our beautiful hearts at the end of this and bring our awareness back to our heart space. Might be feeling different, might not. But feeling that beautiful heart connection and spreading love from your hearts to all hearts. All right. Thank you so much, Mangala. It's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to chatting again soon when I'm in Glastonbury.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.